Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just lovely to have you along for the ride. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thursday night. I hope you were able to find something to do without the Phillies play. Oh, that's right. The NBA Finals were getting set. That's what was happening. Western Conference Finals, that got settled last night. The OTAs went down. Hopefully you guys watched a little bit of the live stream on PhiladelphiaEagles.com. Hopefully you read the stories and all that fun stuff. Hopefully you watched some of the press conferences. If you didn't, I got you covered as far as that goes. Big, I would say more so defensive day. You had Rodgers address the media, Jordan Davis address the media, Nolan Smith addressed the media, then Paris Campbell, John Ross. So one of the 3 out of 5. But really interesting stuff from Nolan Smith, who I've already told you guys many times, and I'll repeat it again. I don't have a lot of expectations for Nolan Smith. I need to see a lot from Nolan Smith in his now sophomore season in the NFL. Because without Jalen Carter being here as a first-round pick as well, oh, man, Nolan Smith, we are throwing under the bus for whatever that was his rookie year. And on top of it, going into his rookie year, I want to say it was after his first preseason game, he talked about how his shoulder sometimes works. It's his baby. Sometimes it cries, sometimes it doesn't. I'm like, okay, that has me concerned. And then it was a very lackluster rookie season from Nolan Smith. Jordan Davis, we've already seen a lot from the picture that came out following the Eagles autism fundraiser, where that picture of Jordan Davis signing an autograph for a fan went viral with a very slimmed down, very slender Jordan Davis. I think one of the most important questions you can ask an athlete, especially one that is coming off of an off season, is, so what was the message? And what was the goal? What was the message going into the offseason? And what was the goal going into the offseason? And he talked about being in better shape. Because when you think about the snap counts, like when you think about like a tangible number to really shoot for with Jordan Davis, you're talking about a guy that's going to have to go through about 45% of the snaps to about at least 65% of the snaps in the upcoming season. Hopefully with his age being younger than Fletcher Cox significantly, you're looking at a guy who can probably get to 70% of the snaps at least in this coming season. And the only way that's going to happen is if he is in great game shape, if his stamina is off the charts, if it's a lot better than what we have seen from him over his first 2 years in the NFL. So Jordan Davis, point blank, was asked about what the goal was going into the offseason and what new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio expects from him and other offensive linemen as well, or excuse me, other defensive linemen as well. That'd be strange. Going into this season. So they covered it all yesterday. Being in shape, what the mission was. Nolan Smith talked about the shoulder injury. He also talked about what the mission was for this upcoming season. And we also have the same offensive line at OTAs that we had seen, minus Lane Johnson obviously not being there. Bottom line of that is that Tyler Steen is still your right guard. That's really all we're looking for at this point, and that's what's happening right now. Practice, some defensive changes were made. We'll get into that, but a lot of that was Darius Slay not being there for this round of OTAs. Mandatory minicamp is next week, so that'll be more news, bigger news, more relevance to see who actually goes to what is mandatory and not what is voluntary, as the last couple of camps have been with the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll break it all down on the show. Like I said, no Phillies yesterday. They're back at it today when they start a 3-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals. That'll get underway tonight at 6:40 in South Philly. So we got all that going on and so much more. And yeah, we will get into the NBA Finals being set and how I am rooting very hard for the Dallas Mavericks. I'd say 3 parts spite. One part, Boston didn't go through a process, so they shouldn't win anything. To hell with them. That's what I'll go through. Like Dallas Mavericks, I mean, they got Luka. And Luka can just dominate, and Luka dominated yesterday. And they got Kyrie, and everyone said, "Don't get Kyrie. Kyrie's he's a troublemaker. He's a flat earther." Oh no, you can't get a flat earther. All I know is he shoots a round ball rather well, and he did that yesterday for the Mavericks, and they eliminated Ant-Man, Anthony Davis. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. So we got a lot to jump into. We're going to hear from Jordan Davis. We're going to hear from Nolan Smith themselves, so you guys don't have to take it from me. You can hear it straight from the horse's mouth, as they used to say. First and foremost, the shape factor that we've talked so much about when it comes to Jordan Davis. This is him talking about really how that was the goal getting into the season. And I'll also tell you in a minute how he dropped some LBs. If you're looking to drop some LBs, if you're looking to play 70% of the snaps in the NFL, defensive snaps in the NFL, I got a secret for you. Here's Jordan Davis yesterday talking about him getting into some of the best shape of his life.
Do you feel like you're in now compared to the end of last season?
Definitely improvement, man, from all bullet points on the board. It's one thing I've been focused on. Just getting better. You know, I said the same thing last year for my rookie year. I wanted to get better every year, and, you know, I'm finding ways to improve that. Obviously, you know, stepping into a much larger role than I was last year. And, you know, I know what's expected of me. But in terms of just being in my best shape, I'm getting in the best condition of my life. So, I mean, that's just not from me. That's from top down, from the D-line. That's the standard that we demand from each other. So if you look over there, practice, we working. We running. We getting after it. So definitely, you know, we can always improve. I'm not going to sit there and stop. I'm not comfortable where I'm at, but I'm definitely, you know, improving. Definitely improving.
We all want to see young guys improve, obviously. Now, to break it down from last year, right, or 2 years ago, during his rookie season, Jordan Davis played 26% of the snaps. Last year, he upped that 19%. He got to 45% of the snaps. That's good. That's good. Over the last 2 years, Fletcher Cox has gone from 66% of the snaps to 75% of the snaps. 3 years ago, he was at 70% of the snaps. As you would expect when you're 30, 31, 32, those numbers are going to be dipping down just a little bit, especially if you're going to be adding guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis himself. They're there to help alleviate the workload from you. But now that workload is being shifted to Jordan Davis and to Jalen Carter. Will they be ready for it? Here's Jordan Davis on that.
Significantly more snaps per game.
Definitely. I'll be able to answer the call. I know it's required of me. I know Vic is leaning on me. I know the D-line's leaning on us. So I definitely think that I'll be able to handle it. That's what I'm working for. Nobody's coming to save us now. So, you know, we got to put the load on our backs. And that's coming from, you know, me, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Marlon. It's just everybody. We got more that's expected of us, so we have to go out there and show it.
That one of the things I was really looking forward to hearing. First off, we heard from Jalen Carter already, so I assumed we would hear from Jordan Davis. He was the first person to sit down at the table yesterday in front of the microphone, so I loved seeing that. So seeing them sit down there, one of the things I was definitely looking for, obviously, Vic Fangio, his relationship there, his early impressions of him, and we'll get to that. I wanted to hear about how he dropped the weight and all that. I wanted to hear about the workload and all that. One of the other things I wanted to hear was a very specific mission. Hearing him talk about significant snaps. I was not going to come out and say, we're on playing 70 snaps. I understand it's not going to be that specific, but just talk about the uptick in workload, but also talk about the demand that is going to be on both he and Jalen Carter when it comes to being the guys on the interior of that defensive line. Making no mistake about it, not mincing words, not pulling punches, not trying to be vague. I wanted to hear from him that he understands that this is his show now. That he and Jalen Carter, they have to take over for Fletcher Cox. That's what they have to do. They had to also step into the role last year of Jalen Carter taking over for a guy like Javon Hargrave. I think for the most part, with the exception of towards the end of the season, Jalen Carter, the rookie wall, blah, blah, blah. Jalen Carter did that. Now you have two guys that have to step into that role and be dominant defensive tackles on the interior of this Eagles defensive line. There's nobody coming to save us. When you just heard that from Jordan Davis, that's what popped in my mind. Nobody's coming to save us means there's no veteran that's on the bench right now that you're just giving a break to for a second. Or there's no veteran next to you that will carry that workload and draw that double team. That double team is coming for either one of you guys. That's what's happening this season. And you want to know going into the year, even before minicamp happens, that is already on your mind. First off, the fact that they're there, they don't have to be there, but they are there, I think that is a wonderful thing. Because, you mean to tell me you're taking over for a guy who's going to be an Eagles a Ring of Honor guy, an Eagles Hall of Famer? You're gonna be taking over for that guy, and you're not at OTAs? with a new defensive coordinator, and this is your D-line now? Oh, that's not good. I don't like that even a little bit. But they're there. They're working their asses off. They're trying to show you that they can be in shape, they could be ready to go, and they could still be firing by week 18 in the NFL. They can still be firing by the time the NFL playoffs roll around. That's what I love about this. So far, I haven't heard one thing in this offseason that I've gone, from players themselves that alludes to the idea that they don't get it. And that's one of my overall takeaways of listening to these press conferences, watching some of the OTA practices and all that stuff, like the live stream yesterday. Like, they get it. They understand what happened last year. Even listening to Jalen Hurts, a month ago? They understand what happened last year, but they also understand that they want to leave it in last year, and they don't want to bring any of that into this year. They understand. A guy like Jalen Hurts also understands that he's got to be a little bit different when it comes to the type of leader he is on the team, and he never has to step out of character. But yeah, maybe sometimes if he feels like, I don't know if I should say something. No, you should probably say something. Just those little instances. Those are instances that you want him to actually come out and talk. So, but getting back to this defensive line and listening to Jordan Davis yesterday, he only further distilled the point that this team really does get it. They understand what's at stake. They understand that they're getting two new coordinators in here. In this case, talking about Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator. And they want to make sure that they prove themselves to him. Because one thing is for sure, they're definitely not going to suffer fools. Vic Fangio is definitely not going to suffer fools when it comes to this defense. This is the way Jordan Davis talked about how Vic Fangio is different than some of the other coordinators that he's had.
Defensive coordinator in 3 years, how is he different personally than the other guys you've had?
No, there's no, and I hope y'all can believe that out. But it's really no BS with him. It's straight ball. Some people like it for better or for worse. I play with all types of coaches from high school, college. I mean, Kirby Smart's the worst of the worst, so not the worst of the worst, but he's he's old school. You get what it's expected on. It's a job to do. You got to do your job. If you don't do it, then it's a miss. So, it's even from like Coach Clint, like detail oriented. If we mess up on the details, we got to go again. And it's not just saying like, you getting that extra rep. You're just doing it just to do it. You're doing it for improvement. You're doing it to make sure that you get it down, you get it right. And if we get it right, I mean, you do it right. If you do it wrong, you do it wrong. So it's either one way to do it, and that's just to do it correctly.
Do it wrong, do it long. Love it. Look, I understand Vic Fangio comes in here with that hard ass, that old school mentality that I know a lot of people love. And we love that. We love hearing that. Oh, man, if we – like Gus Bradley, okay? This is the name that came to mind yesterday for a couple of reasons. One, I was reminded of the Chip Kelly stuff because a clip came up of Deshaun Jackson and the LaShawn McCoy fellow, right? And I said, oh, yeah, this is talking about Chip Kelly again? No. Actually, I think they were talking about Donovan McNabb's white party. Anyway. Gus Bradley became extremely popular for two reasons in Philadelphia. One, he was actually a defensive coach. And then the Eagles went the complete opposite direction. If you remember the story, they were sitting across from Gus Bradley, and Chip Kelly hit him up and said, hey, maybe I am interested in being the Eagles head coach. That's the way that went down. But if you remember leading up to it, when we were all psyching ourselves up for Gus Bradley, two of the things went into it that were very interesting. One, he was defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, Legion of Boom, man. You get a little piece of that with the Eagles. Oh, man, we love it. The other, which is what really lit a fire under some people, was the do your job clip that went viral. That got a lot of people on board with Gus Bradley. People that just knew the Seattle Seahawks were, really good defense, and they credited Pete Carroll more than anything. Well, they saw this clip of Gus Bradley, like, well, that's like he's from the Seahawks, and that's his attitude. Oh my God, I love this guy. That's a great attitude. And Vic Fangio has a very similar attitude. It's a very similar type of general, if you will. That's all great in terms of mindset and mentality and approach to the game. But if it doesn't work and you're not aggressive, Oh, yeah, that's it. You can be aggressive with your players. That's one thing. To be aggressive on the field, going after a quarterback, that's a totally different thing. And that, if you're aggressive, you get after the quarterback, oh, we're going to love it in Philadelphia. Oh, boy, baby. Oh, we're going to love that. But if it doesn't work, that can turn rather quickly. In the meantime, hearing guys talk about what a hard ass Vic Fangio is only furthers the point of the type of mentality that is going to be running this defense that we already know. A mentality that could alienate some players like it did in Miami, according to players. Then there are other players that love the guy. Listen to Darius Slay talk about Vic Fangio, how he was talking to Akeem Talib about Vic Fangio, and how Akeem Talib loved the guy. Listen to guys like Justin Simmons talk about him. Listen to guys like Patrick Surtain talk about him. They have great respect for him. It's a matter of it actually going out there. It's a matter of actually working here in Philadelphia with the defense that he has together here now. And the younger guys that he has here now. And the younger guys that are taking over for the veterans like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. So far, they're all talking about how they love it. Week 6, week 7, week 8, all that. That's what I want to know if they're still going to be loving it. Because what only further the idea of them loving it is if there is success. If there's no success, well, then things are going to fall apart rather quickly. Because if you are giving your all, if you really are busting your ass, and somebody is still over your shoulder demanding more from you as a professional, well, that can be a little daunting. I have high hopes. We all have high hopes when it comes to this Eagles team and this Eagles defense and what Vic Fangio could do for it. And if we're gonna love a defense more than we did under Jonathan Gannon, Sean Desai, 5 weeks of Matt Patricia. If we're going to love it more than that, I would hope that's a little bit of a low bar, but let's not forget, Jonathan Gannon had the number 1 pass defense in the NFL and a 70-sack season and a Super Bowl appearance. And we hate that guy. And I understand why. That's still, they didn't make any adjustments second half of the Super Bowl. That's gonna live on in infamy in our minds. I understand. I'd love to at least see Vic Fangio get the opportunity to get back to that height of being in the Super Bowl and having a chance to make second half adjustments. That's what I'm going to be crossing my fingers for. One final thing from Jordan Davis yesterday was talked about the snaps, talked about being in shape. He also talked about how Vic is asking more from him and Jalen Carter and Milton Williams as well.
Just be ourselves, really. We love Fletch. Grateful for him. He led the way. But Vic coming in with a new scheme, a new defense, and fortunately, it's something that me and Jalen played before. Old school. I'm sure you heard that all the time. He's old school, so he don't give a damn. We running. He expects us, everybody that's on the field, he expecting us to be on the field for as long as we can. So, we just know that he wants us to be out there. And, if you're going to be a player, you're going to be a dude, you want to be out there and you want to play. So, I want to be that dude, so I want to play. Obviously, I'm sure everybody that's on the field wants to make plays and stuff like that. And the only way we could do that is just being on the field. So,
there you go. Be that dude. That'll be the message for this season. I want to be that dude. You want to be Fletcher Cox? Excuse me. You want to be at the level Fletcher Cox was at? You want to be an Eagles Hall of Famer, son? You want to be a Super Bowl champion? You want to be a leader? Now's your opportunity. The old guard's gone. Brandon Graham's still here, and Nolan Smith spoke. We'll get to Nolan Smith's comments in a second, but Nolan Smith spoke glowingly about Brandon Graham yesterday. And it's great that he's still here. But this is interior defensive lineman we're talking about here with Jordan Davis and taking over for a guy like Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter getting his reps as well and his opportunity to do that. What my number one takeaway from listening to a lot of these guys so far this offseason is that they get it. They get it that last year was last year. They don't want that to happen again. And then also younger guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis understand that this is their show now. This is their show. And you have to love the idea of them understanding the situation that they're in. No, I don't look at it as it's my team. No, I don't. No, look at it as if it's your team. The idea of Jordan Davis saying no one's coming to save us, that means you're the last line of defense. Like you're it. There's no, rolling criticism downhill. This is on you. As far as how he lost the weight, This is one of the things I really liked from Jordan Davis yesterday. Another thing I really liked, I should say, from Jordan Davis yesterday was he has started backpacking. Jordan Davis will go hiking. That's how he's lost a lot of the weight. That's how he's slimmed down. He started hiking. He also talked about doing little things, like if he's going to watch TV, he'll watch 15 minutes of film first. Just like, let me get 15 more minutes of film in. Instead of just watching TV, whatever, let me get 15 more minutes of film. Good. He's finding more areas to work. He's finding more areas to improve. Good for him. Love it. Did talk about being the anchor of the defense. Again, the point is not lost on him that without Fletcher Cox, that is going to be his responsibility. And I love that. As I said before, 26% of the snaps last year, or 2 years ago, 45% of the snaps last year. Fletcher Cox played 66% of the snaps last season. So let's up it another 20. Let's up it another 20. Come on. Maybe that's the whole plan. So that's what I got for you for Jordan Davis. All in all, I think 65 to 70% of the snaps is a great success for Jordan Davis in the upcoming season. So if you're looking something to really focus on, something specific, that would be in the realm of being specific with Jordan Davis. 65 to 70% of the snaps for the upcoming season. Last year, Nolan Smith addressed the media for the first time after his first professional game. He talked about a shoulder injury. And I remember thinking, hold on, this guy's is an edge rusher. Okay. It's a first-round pick. The Eagles had a linebacker the 2 previous years into Kobe Dean, who had a shoulder issue, and went from arguably a first-round pick to definitely a second to a third. And then people were asking about, hey, you have a shoulder injury there to Kobe Dean. What's going on there? He's like, I don't know what people are talking about. My shoulder's fine. What's going on here? Nolan Smith, not a lot of people talked about a shoulder issue, except Nolan Smith after his first professional game, where in the midst of him saying really inspirational things like, you're not hungry unless you'll eat off the floor. Remember that? I love that. Oh, yeah, I'm hungry, man. I'm so hungry, I'll eat off the floor. I don't give a damn. And then he also said, oh, yeah, sometimes the shoulder works and sometimes it doesn't. Say what now? Are you a 15-year veteran somehow that I don't know about? What's going on? That's the shoulder. Now, the report was that he had his shoulder scoped in the offseason. He wouldn't say anything about the shoulder as far as being specific about what he had done. This is about as specific as he got about his health going into this season as it pertains to his shoulder.
I want no problems health-wise, man. I'm just ready to play football, ready to fly around. It's a learning curve. A lot of people think you're supposed to come in the league and dominate and do all of this and that. And I got the same dreams and hopes that everybody have for me else. I want to get, 10-plus sacks and do all of that. But, realistically, it's a learning curve. These guys been in here 15 years. These guys been in here a long time. And I say praise to Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson taught me everything from getting my toes right to how I work, what I'm looking for in a tackle, and just different things like that.
How's the shoulder this year?
Oh, it's amazing. It's ready to go. Can't wait to use it.
He sounds like he's running for office. Listen to the question and then listen to how quickly he gets off the subject. Just one more time. I'll just play the first couple seconds of it. Just listen to this one more time.
To this point.
I want no problems health-wise, man. I'm just ready to play football, ready to fly around. It's a learning curve. A lot of people think you're supposed to come in the league.
Okay. There's no problems health-wise. Literally after your first game, it was like, damn, my shoulder doesn't work. Like, what? Then we barely see him on the football field in his rookie season. We barely see him have success on the football field. And he's saying there's nothing health-wise, and then he shifts to learning curve. So the issue for him was more so not being at the level he needed to be at, I'll call it that, to play consistently at the NFL level. The shoulder's a shoulder. It's fine. No health problems. It was all about I wasn't good enough. That's more or less what he's saying. But that's a political answer. Just like a little blurb on whatever you just asked me. But here's what I really want to talk about. I enjoyed it, but I was like, that was a quick little change. So we had no issues. So as the press conference went on, Reuben Frank, NBC Sports Philadelphia, friend of the show, asked, okay, hold on a second. More specifically, there's a report you had your knee scoped, or excuse me, your shoulder scoped. There's a report that you were dealing with some issues there. Just to be specific, you're all good, no problem. And he wouldn't talk about any type of procedure. It's his right. It's his right. Him acting like it was nothing, but us knowing it was something still has me a little concerned. I would rather, like, you put it under the what's he going to say? Here's what I'd rather him say. Oh, yeah, dealt with it last year, got through it, took care of it in the offseason, feels fantastic. He even, at one point during the press conference, raised his arm. He, raised his shoulder. Like, I'm going to raise my arm, I'll raise my arm. And he raised his arm. And he raised his arm well. Oh, man. If I'm a quarterback, I'm terrified of that coming to slap the ball loose. But the fact that he was a little secretive about it, maybe even covert. I mean, okay, let's see how this lasts in week 5. See how long this will be. And then, look, I'm rooting for the guy. I just don't have high expectations for him. I would love to have high expectations for all these guys, but I also try to be real. And what I'm hearing, I love his attitude. He is 1,000% the next Brandon Graham in terms of attitude. And I think every time things really start to go awry, you still need somebody to kind of be like, no, we got this. You need one person that still believes no matter what, one optimistic person, one positive person where the vibes of positivity are just oozing out. That's going to be Nolan Smith next year. That's still going to be Brandon Graham, but Nolan Smith's going to have a lot of that. The example of it is he sits down, he's like, hey, how's everybody doing? Nobody answers. He's like, oh, hey, how's everybody doing? All right, cool. All right, what do you got? What did he say? Let's pop this off. Yeah, let's pop this off. That's how he started his press conference. Let's pop this off. Cool. As far as his relationship with his new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, this is what he had to say about that evil Vic Fangio.
I love it. I come from coaches like that. Like, a lot of people say the Bama family tree. No, it's the Georgia family tree now. So from the Georgia family tree, those tough coaches that want you to push a little bit extra, give me a little bit more, and I expect more from you. That's what I want you to expect more from me. And that's what Coach Walsh pushed me to that point. Like, Coach Walsh expects a lot from me, and I expect a lot from myself. And Coach Walsh pushed me day in and day out that it ain't no problem to work for Coach Vic.
So just to
There we go. Oh, that was Rube about to ask the question. You got it at the end there. So just to clarify, your shoulder's still attached to everything, right? Oh, yeah. Arm, shoulder, whole thing still there. A couple other things. And look, definitely filed under what's he going to say or what are they going to say. It seems to be as good as it can be to start off this relationship with Vic Fangio, who is coming off the stories of Omar Kelly. And I believe him. I don't think Omar Kelly's making anything up down there for the Miami Herald, I believe is his publication, about players being disgruntled with their former defensive coordinator down there. When it comes to Vic Fangio, I think these guys are getting off on the right foot. And from what I have heard from these players to this point, everything seems to be, oh, wait, what are you talking about? I don't know why people are saying this guy's an ass. I don't know why these guys are saying, he's definitely tough. You heard from Jordan Davis there a second ago, there's no BS. You heard from Nolan Smith there, he loves coaches like that. He comes from that kind of, coaching background. So he loves it. It's good that he's doing it with these young players that still see themselves as young and not doing it as seasoned veterans. Like even Jordan Davis, who's going into his 3rd year in the NFL. Yeah, but it's his first as the, quote, anchor of the defense. Nolan Smith without Hassan Reddick. I know Bryce Huff's here, but Nolan Smith here without Hassan Reddick, he's got to take that big step up. Let's not forget, this time last year, people were talking about Nolan Smith as Little Haas for Little Hassan Reddick. So that's very interesting. But everything seems to be starting off on the right foot for your Philadelphia Eagles. Let me ask this before I get to the chat a little bit later in the show. One question I do want to throw out to you is, what is the number you see for Jordan Davis as far as snap count? Gave you the numbers. Where do you think he'll be at again? Do you think he'll be over 60 this year? Do you think he'll be over 70 this year? Do you think he'll be over 75? Don't think that's happening. But where do you have Jordan Davis at as far as snap count goes? Isaiah Rodgers talked yesterday as well. Oh, wait, hold on a second. One more thing on Jordan Davis here. Anchor the defense. Oh, said he's down to about 350 weight-wise, thanks to hiking. Thanks to hiking and laying off the juice. That's what he said yesterday. And then he goes, this is great. He goes, how'd you lose the weight? Oh, I've been hiking. I've been backpacking and really gotten to that. I want to be one with nature, right? And he goes, laying off the juice. And then he paused and went, ooh, no, hold on. Not that juice. Not that juice. There's never doing that juice. So I don't know. Is he just crushing orange juice with high sugar count? What's going on there? All right. But he did say, and he called himself, like, not that juice. Sorry. But yeah, that's where he's at. More snaps, obviously. I got okay. Isaiah Rodgers, Justin Media yesterday was asked about what made his gambling issue different, and he's like, well, I did a lot more than everybody else. Like he was very open and honest without being way too open and honest. It's like, hey, why do you think other guys were brought back before you? Other guys didn't bet at the facility. He didn't say that, but that's what he did. He bet at the facility. Like the dumbest way you could have gone about it, he went about it. And he owned it. He owned it yesterday. He's like, well, they didn't do. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Like that's basically is what I got out of it. He was very good about it. Paris Campbell talked about the familiarity with Nick Sirianni. How that's a little bit of an not inside track. Those weren't his words, but just kind of understanding what Nick Sirianni's looking for. He also talked about never burning bridges with players or with people. So that's also another reason why he's here. But as far as expectations went for either of them, that's just filed on. I'm here to compete, more or less, was the message. John Ross said he knew exactly. He knew he made a mistake the second he retired. Okay. Either way, you're here now. Ball out, son. Compete with the guy that spoke after you at the podium yesterday. So those are my overall takeaways. As far as actual playing football and not windows into their mindset with their words. Yesterday on the football field, no Bradbury. Devontae Smith was also not at practice. No Darius Slay yesterday. Sidney Brown still not practicing as he recovers from his injury last year, the ACL. Tyler Steen still at right guard. Oh, this is interesting. Eli Ricks and Quinyon Mitchell were your outside corners on the second team yesterday. Avonte Maddox, without Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being there, Avonte Maddox was playing safety next to Reed Blankenship. On the second team, Quinyon Mitchell, Eli Ricks, and Cooper DeJean was in at the nickel spot for your Philadelphia Eagles yesterday at practice. What a day. What a day at the NovaCare Complex. Yeah. All right, so my question for the chat, what's the number you see happening for Jordan Davis next year or this coming season? Mandatory minicamp is next week. I can't wait. James Bradbury, I still don't think he's going to be here. We'll see how all that works out. Phillies are back at it tonight. 6:40 start time in South Philly. Aaron Nola gets that start. I look forward to that. I do miss it. Even with Western Conference Finals wrapping up yesterday, even with OTAs, I do miss it. That's what happens when you have a good ball club. So they got 3 against the Cardinals. They got 3 against the Milwaukee Brewers. Then they go to New York for 2 for the London. Or excuse me, then they face the Mets. Those both games are I don't know what it says on the Mets website, but both those games are home games for the Phillies. And then they come back. So the Phillies don't play at Citizens Bank Park again. They play this Wednesday, June 5th. Then they're not back at Citizens Bank Park for 12 days. They're back Monday, June 17th. Oh, baby. That's a nice run right there, 6-game run. They got 3 against the San Diego Padres at home, and then they got 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah, June, early July. Yeah, this is going to be it's going to be tough. They got San Diego, Arizona. Then they got Chicago, Atlanta, Dodgers. Oh, then the A's. Okay, so that's fine. Might see your boy. Might see your boy. With the A's, if he's not already with the Phillies by then. In the situation that we could be looking at here, the 2 games under 500, Oakland for now, Athletics. Huh. Very interesting. Where's he at right now? Mason Miller, I'm talking about here. He's at 11 saves on the season right now. Okay. That's where we're at. Hey, let me tell you about the great people at MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of all they have to offer at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie, best way to bet on all the action when it comes to the world of sports. And it comes to the world of politics. You can bet on politics. You can also bet on the world of television, who's going to end up with who and whatever series you're watching. All that on MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. How about the Gametime app? Download the Gametime app to your phone. Use promo code Farzy for your next ticketed event, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Want to go to the Phillies game? Gametime app. Download the Gametime app to your phone. Use promo code Farzy and get $20 off your first purchase. We got last-minute ticket deals available. We got flash ticket deals available. Even ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So if you want to go to a comedy show, you want to go to a concert, you might miss the opening act, you might miss the middle, but you'll see the headliner for a great discounted rate at the Gametime app. And they also have 2 things that I love. The Gametime guarantee, first and foremost. That means if you find tickets in the same section in a row for less money on another site or app, they'll get you back at 110% of the difference on the Gametime app. And how about this? All-in pricing. The all-in pricing is fantastic. So that means there's no stupid convenience fee charged to you at the very last second right before you check out. And you're like, wait a minute, how do these $35 tickets become $50? What? All that on the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app to your phone. Use promo code Farzy and get $20 off your first purchase on the Gametime app. How about PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's phlsportsnation.com. Before I get to the chat check, hey, Jordan Davis, tell me one more time about how you got in this great shape.
I feel like you're in now compared to the end of last season.
Definitely improvement, man. From all bullets points on the board. It's one thing I've been focused on. Just getting better. You know, I said the same thing last year for my rookie year. I wanted to get better every year, and I'm finding ways to improve that. Obviously, stepping into a much larger role than I was last year, and I know what's expected of me. But in terms of just being in my best shape, I'm getting in the best condition of my life. So that's just not from me. That's from top down, from the D-line. That's the standard that we demand from each other. So if you look over there, practice, we working, we running, we getting after it. So definitely, we can always improve. I'm not going to sit there and stop. I'm not comfortable where I'm at, but
yeah, you got to keep improving. Let's get into the chat check. See how you guys are doing on this fine morning. Buddy Christ, would it kill you to start on time for once? Oh, Buddy Christ, what a martyr. See what I did there? Anyway, I will say we were off and running by 6:08 today. So we're getting warmer. Buddy Christ, just kidding. Love you, Farzy. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Buddy Christ. Daniel, what's going on? Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. You got Dallas winning? I got Dallas winning, too. Go Mavericks. Go Mavericks. IBH, good morning, everyone. Good morning, IBH. April. Good morning, April. James Alexander, good morning. This is a breakout season for Jordan Davis. I hope so. Sean Kilrain, good morning. Go Sixers. I have high hopes for the Phillies. It's not football season. Unfortunately, I do say unfortunately, because football is a great example of let them eat cake. Like everyone, they just want football. Nobody moves the needle like the Eagles in the city of Philadelphia. But I am more of the school of like, yeah, it's not football season yet. I know I just did 35 minutes on football. 33 on football. But it's OTAs. It's right ahead of mandatory minicamp. Your new defensive anchor spoke. New defensive coordinator. You want to hear everything you can about him? Yeah. Sean Kilrain, Isaiah Rodgers is that guy that's going to do big things this season. Sean, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I talked to John McMullen a couple of weeks ago, and he was just like, people really need to chill on Isaiah. Like, look, I hope he does, and I hope he takes full advantage of this new opportunity he has in Philadelphia. But I think the number one thing people like about him is that he's not James Bradbury. Farzi's favorite player, the third baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals, goes tonight. Go say, you will not let me live that down, man. Nolan Arenado. Yes, I would have traded Alec Bohm. Hey, maybe Nolan Arenado would have gotten a hit in the Arizona series. Huh? Yeah, come at me now. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Yeah, I brought that back. Brought it back. People still bring it back. I'm not the only one still bringing that back. Twiz, what's going on, man? Good morning. Sean Conway, Jordan Davis cut the juice and is a man on a mission. And not that juice. Go Sixers. Talk to you tonight, Farzy. Don't forget, locked on, everyone. That's right. Get locked on. Get locked on. Connor Trelo-Tola. This podcast sucks. Thank you for checking us out. Appreciate you. Daz, what's going on? Good morning, Farzy. Good morning, Daz. Dev, hoping Davis can keep it off during the season. I see. All right, here we go. 65 to 75% of the snaps split between nose tackle and 3 technique. Dev, I think that is a fair assessment, friend. I think that is a very fair assessment. Fuji, good morning, Mark. Good morning, Fuji. Good morning, folks. Happy Friday to all. Jordan Davis and Smith and Jalen Carter. It's their time to shine and bring that dog mentality that helped play at Georgia. Literally, dog mentality. That's funny. I don't know if it was in one of the cuts I played or not. I don't know if it's in one of the cuts I played or not, but one of the things Jordan Davis said, or Jalen Carter said, it's not the Alabama mentality anymore. It's the Georgia mentality. I was like, good for him. Jason A., good morning. Nolan Smith has me hype. All right. Fuji, Mark, tomorrow is June 1st. Is Bradbury cut or traded? I think he's cut. I don't think he gets traded. I think he gets cut. And it might not happen immediately on June 1st. Jordan Davis isn't going to have big numbers, but I predict he'll get at least 2 sacks. Yeah, one thing I'm definitely not looking for is Jordan Davis to have like even 6 sacks. You know, I'm not looking for like a big sack number from him. I'm looking for him to eat up double teams and maybe get freed a couple times from Jalen Carter getting a double team, but that's about it. Sean Gillespie, good morning. WC Mavs insane. I will say, as far as the Mavs go, they are just so much fun. Like, I've always appreciated Luka Doncic, of course, but and I've respected Kyrie Irving's talent. But Luke is just on another level. Did you see the numbers? These numbers are nuts. For the Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals. This is nuts. To lead your team in the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists. Luka Doncic did it this year. Jason Tatum has done it this year for the Celtics. Nikola Jokic did that last year for the Nuggets. LeBron James did it from 2012 to 2015 in Miami and Cleveland. And Tim Duncan in 2003, Jason Kidd in 2002. That's in the shot clock era. Only 6 players have done it now that Luka's done it, and Jason Tatum's done it. Only 6 players in the shot clock era, which is 1954, 1955. That's a hell of a run. That's a hell of a run. Points, rebounds, and assists. That's pretty special. Sean Cohen, I see 60 snaps, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble. The juice is Jordan Davis now. The juice is loose. Jordan Davis still has the muscle and size, says Sean Gillespie. Looks like it. Sean Kilrain, Luka and Kyrie going to humble Boston. I hope so. Best Angel Hernandez joke I've seen. April and Angel Hernandez. Best Aaron Hernandez. That's a little different. April on Angel Hernandez, now former big league umpire. That's what I've seen. The joke is that he thought he was signing a contract extension instead. I had not seen that. That's great. Good morning from the West Coast. Good morning, 5-star. Did someone say Mason Miller? Daz? Yeah, somebody said Mason Miller. Burt Berry. Good as gone. Thank you, Sean. Nolan Smith. Definitely got bigger. Wilt better than... Wait, what? Wilt better than everybody? Like Wilt Chamberlain? Okay. Danielson. I hate the Celtics, but them in 5. Ooh. Don't like that. Yeah, I can't have the Celtics win. Hated 09, what's going on? Morning, Farzy. Do you think the Eagles should bring in Justin Simmons? Yes. I love CJ and I think Reed is good, but yeah, they're not. Neither one of them are Justin Simmons. Yes, I think they should bring in Justin Simmons. I don't think they will bring in Justin Simmons, unfortunately. But I'd love to see it. I thought if that move was going to happen, it was going to happen at the draft, and it didn't happen at the draft. I like that. WC, only numbers I care about involving Jordan Davis is top 10 rush defense. That'll help you control the game. Not bad. Outside the box, I like it. I'm calling it Jalen Carter, 12 sacks. Let's go. I know it's a big number. It is a big number. But why not, man? Let's party. Let's make it happen. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great. As per usual, what was the number last year with Jordan Davis? 2.5 sacks last year. Yeah, as far as that goes, I don't need a big sack number from Jordan Davis. I need him eating up the middle of that defensive line. For me, I think the guy that's going to get the sexy stats, the sexy numbers, I think that's Jalen Carter. I think Jordan Davis is going to be the, kind of, you're going to have to watch the film to see how much of an impact Jordan Davis had. He might have 1 or 2 plays where he just absolutely gets after guys, blows up the line. Like for Jordan Davis, for me, if Bryce Huff hits, if Josh Sweat is starting out the season the way he started out last season, if all that comes to fruition, then you might have situations where Jordan Davis does get through the interior of the defensive line and gets after the corner. Like, to say that he would have 5 sacks is not a wild thought by any means. Jalen Carter last year had 6 sacks. Fletcher Cox only had 5. I say only, that's still pretty good. But that's with 66% of the snaps. So that's what I look at as far as that goes. But it is interesting to say the absolute least when it comes to this interior defensive line and who's really going to get those big numbers. Well, I'm just looking at it now. Brandon Graham had 3. Brandon Graham and Nick Morrow had the same amount of sacks. And then there was Jordan Davis with 2.5. Marlon Tiapiopo, Tui Piloto had 2 sacks last year. Keely Ringo had 1, for crying out loud. And the other guy we've mentioned, Nolan Smith, just had one last year as well. That's where the Eagles are at as far as their sack numbers from a year ago. So I see some of those guys obviously taking some steps up to the upcoming season. Hey, Lucas Jordan, it's Mi Sanchez. What's going on, Mi? Happy Kyle Schwarber month starting tomorrow. Might have started early. Bryce Huff, Jalen Carter going to have big numbers, says Hayden. I certainly hope so. IBH, Justin Simmons played for Fangio. There's only one reason, if he's not here. What, he doesn't like Fangio? It could also be that they just don't afford, they can't afford him, asset-wise. As long as he's a significant run stopper, I'm good with that. But yeah, for me too. Me too. Fletcher Cox in the early goings of his career too. On a lesser note, Mike Patterson was a guy that you really had to watch the film. The film then wasn't as readily available. You had to like watch the play a couple times and be like, oh, well, that's what he did there, you know. But it wasn't like glaring stats that were just there, like with the sexy numbers that a guy like Jalen Carter is going to be able to pull up. Javon Carter, when he was here, he certainly got sexy numbers as far as the sack numbers go. But that was also his role. It's like, hey, Fletcher Cox is going to draw the double teams. You get through and you get after the quarterback. And that's what he was able to do. So he was able to get the big numbers that way. Jalen Carter, I see having those types of numbers. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motor Cars, skymotorcars.com. As I said, the Philadelphia Phillies take on the Cardinals tonight, 6:40 start time as they return from their day off and their West Coast trip. The Cardinals are coming off a 5-3 victory over the – wait a minute, what was that? Yeah, they're coming off a 5-3 victory over the Reds. So Cardinals and Phillies tonight, 6:40. Aaron Nola, 6-2 on the season with a 3.04 ERA. Miles Mikolas gets the start for the Cardinals tonight. He is 3-5 with a 5.64 ERA, taking on the Phils. Earlier in the season, we did see Mikolas take on the Phils, and that was in St. Louis. In that game, it was the 10-inning affair. He went 6 2/3, allowing 2 runs on 6 hits. Both runs were earned. Issued just 2 walks, struck out only 11 in that one. And that was just his 3rd start of the season. As for Aaron Nola, getting the start for the Phils tonight, looking for his 7th win of the season. Another start also where it could be 3 consecutive starts with him going at least, or it should be 4 consecutive starts with him going at least 6 innings, which has become a low bar, 6 innings for this Phillies pitching staff. No question about that. He did take on the Cardinals back on the 10th of April. It was a 4-3 Phillies win. He went 6 innings, allowing 2 runs on 3 hits in that game, using 93 pitches in what was his 3rd start of the season as well. That's what we're looking at for tonight's matchup. Look forward to that. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are fantastic as per usual. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will be back with you guys after the Locked On Phillies postcast after the Phillies and Cardinals start their 3-game set in South Philly tonight. So catch me there. Also, coming up a little bit later, me on Fox 29. So don't miss that as well locally here in Philadelphia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. And, of course, like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel as well. Catch you guys tonight on Phillies Postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And then I'll see you again Monday. Bye.